Okay, everybody. So this morning we talked about what we were going to do. Today we did phase one. There was a tree back there called the Myoporum. We actually turned it into a composter. Literally, we're not going to just compost the tree. We're actually going to, we made compost, a composter out of the tree. So we stacked up the logs right here. Actually, it's a little bit of a fusion of hugelkultur and composting and permaculture. These big logs were actually a tree earlier today, but the tree was diseased, it was dying. So we went ahead and we made a composter out of it, stacking logs over here. And then what we did with the dying leaves was we actually chopped them up real finely. We laid them on the entire yard. And so the
whole yard is covered with that diseased tree.
It's going to create it's going to sink into the soil. It's going to kill the grass that used to be here. So we got rid of the grass and we're going to just compost this. We're going to let it sit for a few weeks, see if any grass is going to come back. And if it doesn't, then we're good to go. Debating on whether we should use the rototilling approach. I don't think we really need to because that's part of the landscape world, but it's not necessarily part of the permaculture world. We're doing everything completely organic, working and partnering with nature. It's what you call permaculture. Okay, so...
Will we put food scraps in that compost in the corner? Is that what we're going to put in there?
If you have any food scraps, anytime you have food scraps, you're cutting potatoes, any green, banana peels, anything like that.
Tea bags, beans, rice.
Right. Go to Starbucks and they give you bags of coffee grinds. It's like a little trash cans that says free, take me. If you're there at Starbucks, bring them here, dump them in.
Goes right into there.
It goes in. So
you need to have the brown with the green. So
right.
the coffee counts as the brown and also leaves?
Correct. Yeah. So all of this is a lot of green right now, but it's pretty wet. It's December, so a lot of this is going to break down. It's going to start composting. It's going to get rid of the dendrotoxin T into the soil, get rid of the grass roots that are still in here, and then we'll come back in a few weeks. We'll just compost this. This should really be reduced down in size. I mean, by 3/4, and even
all of this stuff on the ground.
Yeah, all this should really shrink down, and then we got the dendrotoxin T going again. And that's what's real important because you don't want a lot of grass growing up. And then we're going to do what's called polycropping. A lot of people. When they get an area this size, they say, well, I'll put my fruit trees over here, and I'll do lines of lettuce, lines of tomato. They do what's called monocropping. If you go out in nature, you never find rows of lettuce growing. That's just what we do today in modern agriculture, but it's not nature's way, and that's why they have to spray so many pesticides and herbicides, because the insects love monocropping. If you do polycropping, you're putting tons of stuff together, and all these symbiotic relationships actually make the plant stronger. Then you don't need all that stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, so this is, we'll be ready for phase 2 in a few weeks.
All right, guys, well, stay tuned for more about the backyard transformation into a healing garden and an edible garden, right? Thanks, Mike. It's Mike from Enviroscape LA. You should check him out. He knows everything about everything, nature and garden and trees and food.